on, everybody? Welcome back.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, Jim.
I lost my voice before the first word I just said then. We were talking before, I was talking very clearly. Then all of a sudden I just went, hey. All right.
Well, Jim Jeffries is with us for another episode of the Viall Files Bachelorette Recap Edition, Hometowns. You know, we'll make this episode on hometowns. No. Well, kind of hometowns.
A little bit,
we had
a little bit of
hometown,
hometown,
and then we had tell all,
and tell all, yeah, and then a lot of adverts.
A lot. It was Oprah. Oprah showed up. Virgin. what else?
Bros.
Yeah,
movies.
Bros. There's a champagne app.
We got champagne apps. We got apps. Anyway, Jim, welcome. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good.
It's good to have you back.
Thanks for having me.
What's new?
Nothing really. I'm just doing gigs like I always do. Go listen to the Jim Jeffries podcast. Yep. I don't know about that. That's all I've got to plug. That's nothing.
I've been told you need to plug it better, though. I've been told.
No, I've been told by my people that I don't plug enough.
Your people want you to plug.
Yeah.
It's a good podcast.
It is a good podcast.
I was on it.
That's it. That's all of the people.
One episode.
You don't want to tell them about it? Jim brings on experts about various topics, and
what were you?
He was the
reality TV. Jim wanted, and Jim guesses.
I don't guess. I say everything I know on that topic, but I don't know who the specialist is going to be, and then I get corrected. So it's basically the world before the internet, when you used to just bullshit in bars and just try to have a go at a topic before you could actually search and find out what the truth was.
And then he brings in a personal Google.
Basically. And then they tell me what I've done wrong.
Wow.
Yeah.
You could have every dad in America for World War II week.
Yeah, the whole idea of the guest is I didn't want to book guests. And so my big thing was I can't know who the guest is. And then I took myself away out of that situation, and then people come.
There you go. That's how you delegate. Yeah. Well, what do we have to get into?
So Rachel and Gabby have given us some sound bites over the last week. One that I thought was interesting, they were talking about that they think Kim Kardashian should join Bachelor Nation. She's recently single, broke up with Pete Davidson.
Oh, like as the Bachelorette?
Yeah, and Rachel said, I think we'd be honored to have Kim K in the sisterhood. So any other celebrities coming to mind that I mean, now they're doing such commercial
I feel like Kim can meet her own men, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be
like
okay.
A year away. I do believe it wasn't too long ago where someone floated the idea of Khloe Kardashian being the Bachelorette. And
that makes more sense.
And she took personal offense. I think she tweeted something like, put respect on my name. So I can't imagine that Kim would be all that flattered that Bachelor Nation would want her as part of the
sisterhood. Also, have we had a Bachelor that has like 17 kids, or is that like, that would be a first? What does Kim look like, honestly? Four. Okay, 4.
Basic 4, 17, what's the difference? Yeah.
She did that little Bachelorette skit when she hosted SNL.
Yeah.
Maybe that's as close as we'll see her public dating.
Why don't we just get Pete to be the Bachelor?
There we go. Nailed it.
He'll be dating Martha Stewart by then.
God, I would love to see that. Snoop Dogg could officiate their wedding. Love it. Well, there was also a question of would Rachel or Gabby join Dancing with the Stars? And Gabby said, quote, I love to dance more than I love to make out with boys on TV, which love to do that a lot. So it's saying a lot. And she said that she is a trained dancer. So she's very much down. So who knows? Maybe we'll be seeing her.
What did Rachel say?
Well, Rachel said she was more eager for Gabby to be on than herself.
Okay. All right.
So
I think we'll see one of
Did you do Dancing with the Stars, Nick?
I did.
Oh, you did it?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you lose weight? Did you get fit for it?
No.
So that's the only reason I do it.
I mean, I was in shape.
But dancing's kind of stupid, right?
I
know people get offended by that. The idea of dancing is a little bit dumb.
I had fun. I liked it. Yeah, I like to dance.
Well, dancing for fun is good, but there's no job in it. We've literally had, through the history of time, 3 people who have danced just for money. You got to be able to sing as well.
I can't.
Otherwise, dancing's pointless.
If you
no,
can't.
I know. Unless you're going to be on Broadway.
I know someone who was a backup dancer for Kylie Minogue, and Kylie Minogue's massive in the rest of the world, and these are playing arenas and stuff like that. She was on a base wage. And like, you looked at Michael Jackson, This Is It documentary, the thousands of them auditioned to get $500 a week or something.
Well, yes. I would, yes.
Got to sing.
It's an unforgiving profession
and it
for
looks
most.
It looks like it's very difficult.
Yeah, for most.
And it looks like it takes a lot of work.
Yeah, they're very talented.
Yeah.
I feel like you got to do it for the social credit of being able to say I'm a dancer.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
I admire people who can dance. I just think it doesn't make any money.
The peak is Dancing with the Stars, I guess. And now it's been moved to... No?
Are they all Australians on Dancing with the Stars that teach you how to dance?
A lot of Australians.
A lot of Australians. Ballroom dancing is very popular in Australia.
And then like Russians who moved to Australia.
Yeah.
It's very, Russian. Like if you grew up in a Russian family, at least some of them, instead of playing baseball, you dance.
Who are the Russian baseball players that you speak of?
None. But I'm saying Americans... like soccer, you get on soccer.
I've never seen that.
No, instead of playing...
And that's 3 strikes to Swiftski.
Was I not making sense?
No, you said unless you play baseball.
No, and like in America, like the parents will have them go play baseball, and then like the Russian guys on Dancing with the Stars, they're like, yeah, my parents put me in
ballet
dance.
Yeah.
I tell you, it was that Baz Luhrmann movie when I was a kid, that Strictly Dancing. Strictly ballroom. No, that's what set the ballroom craze in Australia, and they have ballroom competitions. That's why all the dancers are Australian. I think, anyway. I don't know.
So there's a lot of Australian dancers.
There seems to be on all those shows. All the dancers are Australian.
Not a lot of Americans.
No,
we're lazy.
You don't ballroom.
Yeah. We're not dedicated enough.
Are there any on the Dancing with the Stars?
Whitney?
If you watch
Whitney, yeah.
America's big on the dancing troops.
Yeah.
A group of 20 lads who just coincidentally met each other and went, let's all dance in unison.
Yeah, it's more of
We're
a hip-hop
dancing troupe.
Yeah.
And then
so you think you can dance. You have other shows.
Yeah, which is
but
Jim's
even that's
point. It's
hosted
more
by
like
Kat Deely.
It's more of a.
Oh, I love Kat Deely. Kat Deely used to be my jam when I was living in Britain 20 years ago. And she used to host the morning TV shows. You'd wake up hungover. Oh, I like a bit of Kat Deely. Nothing wrong with her. Is she still on TV? I haven't heard her name forever.
Who, I don't even know who Kat Deely is. Bring her up.
You said Kat Deely hosts a show, right?
She used to. She used to host So You Think You Can Dance?
Well, let's talk about Rachel seeing Aven's dad. Now, I spoke to you about this before. At the beginning of the show, they go, you're about to see something that's never happened on The Bachelor.
Oh, wait, that's Kat Deely? She's cute.
Yeah, Kat Deely. Yeah, I love Kat Deely. She used to work with Ant and Dec in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's great energy.
She's
really vibrant
she's
woman.
fun person. Yeah. She's not the type of person you look at and go, you go, oh, I wish she was my girlfriend. That's how you look at Kat Deely.
You know who I saw the other day at Jones on 3rd? Have you seen the movie Kingpin with Bill Murray?
Yeah.
The actress who plays, I had like the biggest crush on her. She was like the lead actress.
Wasn't she? She was also in
Weird Science, I think.
No.
Anyways, saw her at Jones on 3rd, and it was like I realized like you were a big childhood crush of mine.
Vanessa Angel?
Yeah, it was kind of a big deal for me. Anyways.
Yeah. No. Who, the redheaded lady?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know the one.
Very attractive.
Kingpin.
Yeah. Anyway, you were saying Aven's hometown.
So they said you're going to see something you've never seen in Bachelor Nation, and that always gets me. I'm a fool for that.
Jim's just like, oh my God, get the popcorn.
Because I feel like I've seen everything on The Bachelor. I feel like I've seen everything, and then I was watching that, and then I'm like, what was the thing that I've never seen? It seemed that his parents were nice.
Yeah.
They were very nice to her, and they said, go for it if you think you can go for it. Because we've had a lot of dads this year that are just like, nah, don't do it.
Well, the one for sure, Tino's.
Yeah. Tino's parents were normal people.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, normal folk who are just like, you can date someone. You don't have to get engaged tomorrow.
Do you know her middle name?
Yeah.
You know, they're like, I think it starts with a J, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other parents are super into it, but Tino's parents seem to not caught up in Bachelor bubble.
Because I used to think it was just the mums, because you got like going back to Peter, you got like Barb's mum that bring her home, Peter. Bring her home. This is the thing that fairy tales are made of, Peter. Like that. And then one of the mums was a bit that way now. Like who was the lady? She's got a pretty lady.
Jason's mom.
Jason's mum, who's just like, as soon as I saw you come in the room together, I knew this is. They get wrapped up in the fairy tale of the show. Did your parents get wrapped up in it?
My mom got emotional just seeing me, and I was super into her at the time, and so they were definitely like.
Vanessa.
Your mum, not a mum. Yeah, I know. He phrased that terribly, didn't he?
What did I say?
You said
I was super into her at the time.
You said my mum got emotional, and I was super into her at the time.
My mom. Yeah, well, you know, love my mom. I was super into Andy at the time. So she got emotional, but they definitely were skeptical.
Yeah.
They weren't trying to convince me to like get engaged. They were more like, if you want to do this, we support you. But
yeah.
Your parents seem chill overall.
They never really got into it.
Yeah.
You know, like some parents definitely get into it. They start reading everything. They become involved with their kids.
Tino's dad has been posting on Facebook.
Has he?
Yeah.
About what?
About like updates every episode. Like people have been sharing screenshots of, I guess someone must be a friend with him on Facebook and now is just putting it out into the world. But like he will do updates of like, our Tino got another rose, like da 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 da. And someone said like, oh, like does he win or something? And he commented back and saying, I don't really think you can ever win in terms of this. Like he's like made it quite clear of like he doesn't really think winning or like.
I think he's covering his tracks. I think his son wins.
I think it's
Tino
harsh
wins.
towards Rachel. That's what people are talking about. It's harsh towards Rachel if he can't really like win. Like, but I don't think people are interpreting his activity online as pointing towards him not approving of Rachel specifically.
Really? I kind of take it as the opposite. I would take it as he was hard on Rachel when he first met her. Then Rachel picks him because she's obsessed. And now he's backtracking, feeling bad, posting about these roses, and he's saying you can't win because his whole thing was this is real life and this isn't a show. This is about love and, you know, like life is. And he's like, you're not winning because he wants to like validate his son's like authentic feelings and that he didn't win. He's like, he's in love kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? I think it's more like that. I think he's backtracking. I think if he's on Facebook posting about his son, because he looks like he hates the fucking show.
Yeah.
I think he came back, his son's engaged to Rachel, and now he's trying to win back. And Rachel's probably making him post.
Also, I don't wish to sound harsh, but it probably will be harsh. Isn't Tino the best representation that can come out of that gene pool? Like after you see like the brother and the dad, and they're the splitting image of him, but it's just slightly off. And you're like, oh, and Tino's so hunky.
It all came together.
Yeah, it all came together. There was something that, you know, someone poured a secret ingredient in there by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, you definitely got the good looking genes.
And Tino's dad's like he looks like he's 5 foot tall, and then Tino's like this big strapping fella that walks in.
He does, yeah.
Something happened.
Something happened, yeah. But they like are close enough, like they look related.
You can tell it's the dad. That's the dad, all right.
But my dad's 5'8". Yeah, so I mean, I look like him.
You look more similar.
But he's half my size.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
He's 10'16".
Yeah. My dad's 3 foot. My dad's 3'1".
Yeah. Nailed it.
He's just a little guy. Just a little guy. Just a little guy.
Just you'll see him down the streets of Wisconsin.
Kids. ZocDoc. It's so frustratingly obvious that everyone should be using ZocDoc, right?
Absolutely. It is as doctor's appointments as they were made to be booked. Like you put in your insurance, you instantly get access to reviews, you get access to like when the appointments are available. There's none of this like calling on a phone and playing phone tag with people for 2.5 days before finding out they don't even take your insurance.
You know how they always be like, oh, you should get a second opinion. Well, it's hard enough to get a first opinion because I don't know what doctor I should go to. Now you can get second opinions up to wazoo.
Also in places like LA too, like it's like, yeah, it's one city, but if you're stuck in traffic or if you're trying to get across town to see this like one random doctor, like the nice part is it's like there's a map, you can like find someone nearby. Like there's just so many factors that go into searching for a provider.
So whether you need to find a doctor that takes your insurance or you want to find a doctor that has trusted reviews or you need to find a doctor who can see you in the next, say, 24 to 48 hours, ZocDoc has you covered. ZocDoc makes it easy to find quality doctors in your network and in your neighborhood. Plus, with real verified patient reviews, you can find the right doctor for you, one that actually remembers your name. On ZocDoc, you can find every specialist under the sun, whether you're trying to straighten your teeth, fix any achy back, get the mole checked out, or anything else. ZocDoc has you covered. ZocDoc's mobile app is easy as ordering a ride to a restaurant or getting delivery to your house. Search, find, or book doctors. You know, it's like, yeah, it's that convenient. Done.
Few clicks, done.
And covered by your insurance. Go to ZocDoc.com/VIALL and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then start your search for a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/VIALL. ZocDoc.com/VIALL. No one likes waiting on a paycheck, especially when your bills are due. Good thing there's Chime. Whew, now you can get back your paycheck up to 2 days early with direct deposit. That's up to 2 more days to save, pay bills, and generally just feel good about your money situation. But Chime is much more than just getting paid early. It's also an award-winning mobile app, checking account, debit card, and optional savings account.
Also, credit is a thing. I don't care if you're, applying to an apartment or maybe you're trying to get better loans. It really comes down to that credit score.
Or you're having a conversation with a potential partner. You're having the important credit talk.
It comes up. I've talked to exes about that as well. And it's always kind of like a competition. Like you kind of want to have like a little better one. And you can build yours with the Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card, where with everyday purchases and on-time payments, boost that score up, Amanda.
Boost that score.
So what are you waiting for? Hopefully not your paycheck. Get started with Chime today. Applying for a free account takes less than 2 minutes. Get started at chime.com/VIALL. That's chime.com/VIALL. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank or Stride Bank, N.A., members, FDIC. Early access to direct deposit funds depends on payer. All right, Aven's hometown. So yeah, the thing that we've never seen before, is it parents
a witch
getting...
with a Boston accent? I feel like
could
from the
do
East
it
Coast,
for
I
you
was
if you
like,
like.
the
That
crystal
was-
shit is usually in California.
That was wild.
It's a love poem.
No, but I think it was the parents who maybe got divorced and haven't seen each other. Like
Right.
parents who maybe is it Bachelor Nation bringing divorced parents together and co-parenting? I don't.
Good for them.
I don't
Is
know.
that the thing we've never seen before? Is that
Good
what they're
job,
implying?
ABC.
I don't know what else we've never seen before.
There was nothing.
There was nothing we haven't seen. As you said, the witch with the Boston accent, and she did the fire thing. That's her big trick. She throws that thing like that. They were never going to burn that place down.
Robbie is sitting there taking notes, how dare they?
Oh, the magician.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blondie.
Oh, that dickhead. He wants to be famous worse than anyone that's ever wanted to be famous. He stood up and did a magic trick with a thing, and then he thought to himself, how can I get more attention? Dye my hair blonde. And he piped in on every conversation. He was there for 4 minutes.
Pretty standard for the tell-all, though.
I know, but he looked thirsty, that one.
Yeah.
And he's not on the beach. He's not going down to the
That's
beach.
a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Why?
hasn't been thirsty enough. I'm looking forward to Victoria being back. Oh yeah, she's trouble. Every time I look at her, she's not like the best looking contestant ever, but she's the one that I look at you want to stay away from her. She'll be no good. And then my beloved Genevieve's back. So it was a good episode. That was the best bit. Victoria and Genevieve sitting next to each other.
My girl Shanae's on.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, Shanae.
Yeah. I predict a Shanae renaissance. Was it renaissance or back? She's
A
gonna
rebirth?
A rebirth.
Yeah. I feel like that's Renaissance. Isn't that what Renaissance
Yeah.
is?
And
A
your girl
rebirth.
Genevieve? I don't know. I think Shanae and Genevieve are gonna switch spots.
Oh, you think Genevieve's going to fall down a trap here?
Yeah.
And she's going to show maybe her true colours.
I think we'll see more sides.
Or the editors are going to turn on her.
One or the other.
Yeah.
Well, Shanae seemed to be at the center of the love triangle situation. And there was also, she did have the very charming quote, "We're not having sex, Tarzan," to Jacob.
Yeah. I think Paradise is more conducive to Shanae. All right, back to Aven. Aven's parents, kind of a whatever hometown.
Yeah.
His dad seemed kind of tough at first.
Rachel responded well, though. With
She handled herself well.
Can I sit here right now and be 100%? No, but I'm excited to see where it goes. It was a very
That's all you can
nice,
say.
neutral answer.
I liked how Aven said we're going to explore the rich history of Salem. And then we saw a Boston witch. And that was it. That was the rich history.
And the table collapsed.
Yeah, they didn't go anywhere else. They just went to the witch house, to the thing.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the entire city.
Rich history.
I think, Rachel's just not going to pick Aven. That's basically what it tells
and I thought
me.
it was interesting when Aven says he's falling in love with her, and Rachel's response is going back to a Ching's point a few weeks ago of, Rachel wants to be the best bachelorette as opposed to really being here for love. Like when her response was, "You have no idea what hearing you say this means because I feel like you're slow to open up." Like it struck me as she was like, check in my book. I got the closed off one to still fall in love with
All
me. Like
4
good
of
for
my
me.
guys told me
Yeah,
they
yeah.
love me.
But I don't feel the way.
What
the
are
same
your
way.
thoughts between
Well, she-
Rachel and Gabby, the two bachelorettes? Like, have you been enjoying this season? Have you been enjoying one bachelorette more than the other?
I really enjoyed the first few episodes, and when the guys had to pick in between, and then they're both really nice girls. They're both really nice. I can't really fault their behaviour. They've worked honourably at telling people when they didn't like them, sending people home, not letting people on. So it's been kind of boring in that respect. But the first half, I was all locked in. I like Gabby more than Rachel. I think that Rachel could be hard work as a girlfriend.
Yeah, she seems like she has
seems like a little bit of
a long list of things that make her happy.
Yeah,
and you might have to knock out 95% of them.
Yeah, the bit that like the boys aren't looking at me and I need attention right now. Why do you at some boxing game? What do you need them all staring and waving at you? What's going on there? Like you'll be fine. And then like I'm worried about. She was so worried about rejection the whole time. This person's rejected me. That person rejected me. If you're trying to find the one, who gives a fuck if the rest of the world rejects you? If you're going to find the one, as long as you had 2-3 guys that you really felt a connection to, nothing else mattered really, but it mattered to her. And then Gabby does the whole totally. Yeah.
It's the yeah.
Yeah.
Although,
no. And then I like Gabby. I think she's a bit fun. But then when the guy, and we saw it on this episode, said she was rough around the edges, you think he was the president and he had an affair, the way he had to make a public apology for saying a girl was rough around the edges. Sure, when you look back on it, you can go, I could have phrased that better. But the whole, I've been searching my soul and just really reflecting on what it's to be a man.
He was the one who said, I wouldn't have stayed here even if you were the only bachelorette, which is the similar
But
concept.
Jim's point does still stand. It's like, it is ridiculous.
Because Jesse Palmer said, Gabby, do you have anything to say to Jacob? And Gabby goes, do you have anything to say to me?
Yeah.
Well, in fairness to these guys, they say these things, and yes, they shouldn't say it. It looks bad, of course, but
his apology seemed sincere, and it seemed enough, and everyone seemed happy with it, and they got to move on. But it seemed to be a big apology for what it was, just like, and that's what is it with this season with all this whole like. A real man makes other men better, and all this type of stuff. All right,
that's
it's like we pitted 2 women against each other, but don't worry, we're going to talk so much about healthy masculinity.
Yeah. It's
it's a little bit of insincere. These guys are getting crucified on their social media, I'm sure, so they probably feel like they've probably been convinced that they've essentially killed somebody. It feels like, and so they're.
Where's my Chad? Is what I'm saying. I've
guy who says fuck you and doubles down.
Yeah. Just like, I don't give a fuck. Like even the bloke that said early on, he goes, if dream suites happen and
dream suites,
what do they call? What's the bloody word?
Fantasy suites. I like dream suites.
If fantasy suites happen and they have sex with other men, then that would be me out, which is basically what the girls said last season. And then like it's very clear that guy's douchey. Very clear that guy's douchey. But quintessentially, what did he say wrong? He stated what he was comfortable with. He probably should have kept his mouth shut.
Yeah, he said too much.
He said too much. But really, now we're going back to Thomas a season earlier, who just told the truth.
Thomas, my guy.
Yeah.
Well, you made a good point. There's this episode, and they do this a lot, it's The Bachelor, but what I kind of hate, and I think is what you're saying too, is like they kind of almost frame that like, they saw it with Logan, like not liking someone or changing your mind and like losing feelings is somehow a crime.
Yeah.
If one of the least stops liking a bachelorette, that is a horrific thing. You can't leave.
I don't think Logan had COVID. I think it's bullshit.
Oh, he definitely had. Why? What's your theory?
What's
your theory?
Okay, I've been around people with COVID. I've seen how it spreads and all that type of stuff. No one else in the whole production got it. No one else in the whole production.
We don't know that no one else in production got it.
Neither of the girls got it. None of the cast got it. They're all living in houses together. They're eating together. They're making out with each other.
Why?
I reckon he knocked off with one of the crew members and he got in trouble and they just flicked him off before.
But why wouldn't they make that a show? Why wouldn't they make that part of the show? That would be the most drama they had all season.
They try to keep that quiet because they want to hold the show as like a pristine.
They've done that before.
No, remember when Chris Harrison was like, and then he fell from this balcony.
They had like a guy from production break both of his ankles once.
Yeah. Jumped out of the window.
Off of a window because he was hooking up with one of the castmates. This was was years ago. If they have the footage, they'll air it and they'll probably have talked about it. I just think it's unlikely they would have their host on national television on a topic that's still kind of polarizing and political and sensitive, lie about a guy getting COVID when he could have just say a million other things. Like, why have their host claim something that's not true that would be easily debunked?
I don't know. I feel like they're trying to have a clean show this season. I don't know. Well,
You
I
should
just
reach
don't-
out to him.
I don't
Send him a
think
little
he had
DM.
COVID. I don't think he had COVID. I'm putting it out there. The
Okay.
guy didn't have COVID.
I
I'm
think
not
he
a
had
conspiracy theorist because this doesn't deserve a conspiracy.
Yeah.
This
Although
is just a theorist.
Logan looked kind of hot this episode. I
Do
felt
you like the hair
I
better?
I think
Like
it-
swooped in?
I think his hair. That's what it was. His
Yeah.
haircut on Tell All is much better suited for him than was the whole season.
Well,
I don't
they
know if
went
you have
after
any thoughts
him.
on
They
this.
went after him, but they didn't go after Meatball. Meatball did the same thing. He flip flopped. No one cared because his name was Meatball.
I'm 100% in Logan's camp now. I don't get what he did. Why did he have to go in a hot seat and act like, I just wish I would have done it a different way. And all these guys go after him as if he did something horrific.
He didn't lead either of them on. He was as soon as he knew what he was doing, he fessed up to it.
Well,
I
and
feel
he
like the
had
only incriminating thing was the soundbite of him accepting Rachel's rose,
Sure.
knowing that he wanted to talk to Gabby.
Mhm.
And it's one of those things where, like, as a human, you can understand, like, what other option did he have
Yeah,
in order to get
yeah,
to Gabby?
there was a
But,
lot-
but
that was the
also,
one
he
thing
wasn't
where-
in love with either of them. If you're in a bar and there's a girl that you fancy, but she has a friend that's still really cute that talks to you, you go, all right, I'll
Yeah.
talk to the cute one. Maybe there's something there. And then you talk to the cute one that you don't fancy as much as the other one. You go, no, it's not. Yeah, the same with guys.
I did that once.
Everyone's been down that road.
I met a girl and we talked briefly, and then like I met her friend and I was like, I'm way more into her friend. And I tried they were close friends, but I tried unsuccessfully to pivot, and their friendship won out, which was fine. But like I was like, I'm not gonna pretend to.
But it's been enough years now. You can go back there. It's fine.
My grandma first went on a date with my grandpa's brother.
Yeah, there you
Decided
go.
my grandpa was more fun.
My mother, she got proposed to by my father's cousin, right? Yeah, true.
She got
Right.
proposed to by your father. Okay,
My father's cousin proposed to my mother before my mother had ever met my father. And my mother was like, no, I want to go travel. She meets my dad in London, gets engaged to him, doesn't find out till they come back to Australia at a party that was the cousin. And my mum would bring it up in arguments. Every now and again, you'd hear that. I should have ended up with Terry. Oh, my dad would go, fucking Terry, go. I wish he fucking took you. There was a bit of that. I heard right till my mother died, bloody Terry should have ended up with Terry.
Have you guys heard the theory that Terry is the male version of Karen? Like that's the name for the male Karen?
the terror.
Yeah.
No,
Okay,
I'm not.
This might be a bit of ego, but I believe that I am the reason that Karen
Exists.
exists. The term
Tell
Karen
us more.
exists. Okay, if you search back, we're talking 2000 and maybe 10. I recorded a special. I can't remember which special. It would have been one of those early ones. And I did a joke. I did several jokes where I referenced a woman who was a pain in the ass being called Karen. And so the joke was, I told a dirty joke, I tell a religious joke, and there's some bloke who's enjoyed himself, but he's bought tickets for all of his mates, and then he sits there and goes, fuck, Karen's really religious. I'm never going to fuck Karen, right? That was the whole
Bit,
bit. And then I did another joke where I referenced Karen, and this preceded the Karenness of the world by about 7 years. I think I put the Karenness out there. And to all the Karens out there, I'm sorry, because I'm sure you had a good life before that.
Yeah, really.
You're not going to see babies being named Karen anytime
No,
soon.
no
When you
more.
meet Karens now in today's world, I feel like they might like whisper their name or give a nicknames. Karen.
Yeah.
They start
My
going by
mom's
K.
named Karen,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
she knows that there's something around it, but she's like, like she doesn't really care.
When I was in school, like in the
Doctor,
90s,
you know?
Karen was always like a cute girl's name.
Sure,
Karen,
yeah.
yeah. That was, yeah.
You know what?
There's no shame in dating a Karen.
Way to go, Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to all the Karens. It had to be somebody.
I would tell that story with a little more confidence. Like, just say that you did it. Because
It's on.
it's very believable.
It's
you
on,
have
it's,
evidence.
It's on film. That
Yeah.
like that was just the first domino, and then a couple of people said it. I'm not saying that I have so many fans that people saw that and started saying it. I'm just saying it just took few people who saw me say it to
planted
say
the
it,
seed.
and then it sort of spread out like a Ponzi scheme.
You planted the seed.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everlywell, get the information you need to have the health that you want with Everlywell.
Everlywell is the best because it's at-home testing, and they also have supplements and vitamins. Like it's really just It's taking care of you whether or not you want to like look into, STD testing or food sensitivity or maybe like fertility, or also just like maintain your health or get supplements and vitamins that you're lacking in your day-to-day diet. And it all is shipped to you. If you need to do any tests, comes with a prepaid shipping label. You just drop that back off into a mailbox. If you've been experiencing symptoms and don't know where to start, Everlywell is committed to listening and supporting your journey toward better health and wellness. The Everlywell Women's Health Test measures 11 biomarkers known to play a role in your overall health and wellness and checks for any abnormal levels that may be keeping you from feeling your best. Life is too short to not be feeling your best. And Everlywell is going to tell you why.
And for our listeners, Everlywell is offering a special discount of 20% off an at-home lab test at everlywell.com/VIALL. That's everlywell.com/VIALL for 20% off your next at-home lab test, everlywell.com/VIALL. So, Logan. I thought Logan acquitted himself well. I thought he looks good. We saw his Paradise preview, and I heard there was like a soundbite of Logan's a hot commodity.
Mm-hmm.
Logan fucks.
Logan clearly has game.
Logan definitely has game. Yeah.
Yes, and compared to most of the men they cast in that show historically are like tall, good-looking, awkward guys. And there's every once in a while there's a guy with a lot of swag and a lot of game, and Logan's definitely one of those guys.
Yeah, he's swag.
Yeah.
And I think the interesting part, as Wells said when he was on the show, is based on the filming schedule. Logan would have been one of the guys who went down and was kind of a mystery. They didn't have any preconceived notions of him. They hadn't seen the season yet.
Well, unless you were on his season, yeah. Like
Correct.
all the women probably had no clue who he was, never met him. And I thought he looked pretty handsome. As far as Dave would say, I thought he was, blue or gold, but he was the good-looking one on Tell All. I thought he looked handsome. He blew up. I don't know. But he really had to like keep apologizing for something that I was just like, It was an episode of a lot of guys saying things like, yeah, I wish I would have done things differently. Like, yeah, of course. In a controlled environment.
That's not the man I am or the man I want to be. And I'm a lot different now.
Like, I don't know how different any of these guys are. It's been like 2 months. I don't know what personal growth. I do believe that they would have done things differently. It's like, of course, in a controlled environment where you have no fucking clue what's going on, where things are very much like you don't really have as much freedom as you think you do. Of course, you might have done things differently, but like at least who's Tarzan?
Jacob.
That being said, that is the way to apologize if you are getting heat on that show. Like he just owned it. He fell on the sword. He probably overdid it, but like that is the way to apologize. And then Hayden's the no-show.
As are the twins.
Well, the twins aren't.
I'm kidding.
The twins were there for 5 seconds.
Yeah, but Roby still made a statement.
The twins were probably, but like you could tell they invited Hayden to come, wanted him to come, and Hayden like didn't show up because they were basically like, fine, don't come and defend yourself, but we're gonna try to beat the shit out of you. Yeah. And they had this Rambo guy, and they really laid it on thick to
free Rambo
for Hayden. So. Which,
I'd forgotten the dog was called Rambo, and I just saw that bloke in the audience dressed as Rambo. Yeah, and I didn't even piece it together.
I didn't make the connection at first either.
That's an outfit choice that dude's got.
No, they were basically making fun of Hayden's dog and Hayden. Well, not so much Hayden's dog.
Yeah, no.
Hayden.
Yeah.
They didn't have a lot to talk about when guys that weren't there.
They didn't have a lot to talk about when it just was random people showing up on the stage left and right.
And I'm just trying to figure out how sick was Rambo.
He's like, I've been this long away from the dog. I can't.
He's like, I think like Rambo like ate a berry and threw up right before Hayden left, and he's been telling a story that.
Well, no, he said his skull like crashed in. That's different than like throwing up a blueberry.
Have we seen pictures
of the skull? Probably not. But I have seen Rambo on Instagram.
I don't believe Hayden. What do you so sue me?
Hayden was probably the biggest villain of the whole season. That was as bad as it got. Even that wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Yeah. He was a douchebag.
Rambo's still alive and well 3 days ago.
He looks great.
Oh, yeah. He looks better than I do, Rambo. He looks like he's doing well.
He does not look like that was an inaccurate picture he painted, Hayden.
Living the golden life. There we are.
Let's get into the nate of it all, I guess.
Yeah. After the champagne toast and the cruise giveaway.
Oh, yeah. So Virgin.
That was something we'd never seen in Bachelor Nation.
It's true.
People got
And then,
cruises.
but
Is that what it
also-
was?
but
It must have
Yeah,
been the
it
Oprah
was.
moment.
Yeah.
They had a teaser of all the people standing up and screaming and all that type of stuff, and I was like, maybe
They
this
got
is
you. They thought that
an
you were gonna.
important
Yeah,
bit of information.
yeah. They're gonna
Nah,
cast like
nah,
the
Also, I'm
first.
sorry. If a cruise is gonna change your life forever, that's not a good cruise. The way they phrased it for the audience members,
This is gonna
like
change-
a life-changing cruise is an insane cruise.
That's
Otherwise,
the
it's just
Titanic.
a lovely free vacation.
No, it'll change your life for a week. Well, it'll be different, won't it?
Unless you never come
Yeah,
back.
but not for life. Not for life.
I mean, there
It's
are
not a
people who have
life
gone
The
on
Titanic.
cruises where there's lives that have never been the same. I don't know if it's for good reasons, but
That's what I'm saying.
Do they all go on the same cruise, or they can pick any different cruise? Because that would be a good cruise. Because there was like, if you're a single bloke watching right now, that audience was 90% women. Get on that cruise.
Mm-hmm.
They get on
That's
that
true.
cruise. They're all there.
yeah,
You want to meet girls? That's the cruise.
a lot of ladies on that
A
cruise.
lot of ladies, a lot of bachelor ladies that might be single.
And the dude
Do you
dressed
think-
like Rambo.
Do you think they'll all be on the same cruise, or they'll get a
Like Rambo,
voucher?
exactly.
They'll probably get a voucher and then select dates. Or do you think they'll be forced to go on the same cruise?
Well, my question was, it seemed like the guys were all like cheersing and looking good, and he said everyone here gets a free cruise.
Yeah,
so did the
I don't think the guys. get
that's
to
what I
go.
was thinking. I was like, they needed to.
And
Disclose that.
is it a +1 if you came to the show by yourself just
Yeah.
to watch the thing, or if you've come with like your mother or something, are you cruising with them, or do you get a +1?
That's a great question.
Yeah, you want a +1.
I'm sure they gave them a voucher for like limited dates. You know, like you can probably only leave like the Wednesday in the middle of like July or some other.
And you
hot month.
get those real small rooms.
The interior facing, no windows.
yeah,
Yeah.
no swan on your bed for you.
No,
Yeah.
I've done it.
I'm not a cruise fan.
I like cruises.
I
Do you?
love good
Yeah, I
cruise.
like
Jim, we
cruises.
should go.
Well, is the great
It's
Corinne
like,
Olympus?
if you want to gain weight, the cruise is there for you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They have soft serve machines that you can do yourself.
Constantly.
That's dangerous.
You could bring a bucket from the beach and fill it to the
Yeah.
top.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No one's watching.
No rules.
Yeah.
Well, as the great Corinne Olympus once told me when I said I hate cruises, she just said, "Well, you don't cruise right then." She,
There we go.
she,
There's a saying: the more you booze, the better you cruise. And that's what they try to push alcohol in you all day. And it's a real like sort of wake up in the morning and have a drink type of a place.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
everything's buffet meals.
it's not my favorite place.
I don't like buffets.
I don't either.
You're not doing cruise. I'm with Corinne. You're not doing it
No,
right. if
there's
you're doing
nice
buffets.
restaurants though.
Yeah.
I think there's nice, but lunch you just sort of get
Yeah,
off the pool
there's-
and you get.
there's
the thing.
always like a
dinner
community-
you can do nice.
Yeah.
Dinner you
Yeah.
can do nice, but the
But there still is a buffet element, a mass production of food. Like
I'm
I'm not a big
stand up
fan
for
of
breakfast
food
buffets,
that's sitting.
though. Breakfast buffets are amazing.
Only
A
because-
hotel breakfast
only
buffet
because of
any
the
day of the
hours.
week.
breakfast buffets all right. Yeah, I had a good one the other day, and they did like French toast and stuff, and they cooked and they have an omelette station. Or yeah, breakfast buffets.
It's the omelet station, which is fresh.
But the other thing is like I went to a buffet the other day in Tucson, and it was $20, and it was overpriced, and it was all you could eat, and it was not good. Right, and like I remember growing up, my dad was very big into that all you can eat, and the truth is, all restaurants when you have money are all you can eat, all of them,
Yeah,
all of them.
that is.
Like that sounds like a rich bastard
Isn't
thing
into
to
all
say.
you can eat Terry.
I was talking. We went out to dinner last night. I was talking about this with my cousin. I'm like, you know what? Like, I think my favorite part of like making more money because when I make, I
You
don't.
can eat more.
Yeah, it's the
No,
best.
it's not like living large. I try to live fairly modestly, but it's when you're at a restaurant and you're like, should I get this or that? I'm like, let's get both, you know? Or
Yeah.
it's those are the moments I like.
That's
or-
that's the one thing like with money that I do indulge. I'm not much of it like I have a couple of watches or whatever,
Yeah.
but I have a pretty modest house. I just have the one car, and I eat whatever I want on a menu.
There we
Whatever I
go.
want. That's
And
the
if
thing.
like if something bad happens, you get a parking or speeding ticket, you're just kind of like, whatever. You know, it's those things that like making money great. Other than that,
the
whatever.
only thing that money really buys you, because people, I would never want a boat or anything like that. It does get you to the front of the line. There's
Yep.
always some way.
Who will
to,
take $50, you
yeah,
know?
there's some way to get to the front of the line.
I have
That's-
a question though, which is because money is obviously like a big part of a relationship in terms of if you're making financial decisions to like get engaged and have a life together.
Mm.
How much on The Bachelor do you think contestants and the Bachelor or Bachelorette themselves can like suss out what someone's financial situation is? Like, is it
I'll-
pretty obvious or because it's
no,
the mansion
I'll
and
tell
everyone's in
you.
the same stuff?
I'll tell you, there are a lot of conversations post filming behind the scenes of people discussing money because they're casting a lot of young men who are not
Yeah,
are not making a lot of money right now, and I think there are conversations going on about like, what are you doing, and what's your financial situation, and
Yeah, what does a former athlete make?
only
these
to
days?
realize there's just not a lot in the old banking account, and I think those are actual conversations that do happen that are never get talked about.
Because I wouldn't want to marry someone or get engaged to someone with a huge amount of debt and bad credit that's going to bring my credit down and all that type of stuff. Like, these are things you have to actually know about in
Debt
a
and credit
relationship.
are important questions.
Are
yeah.
huge. I mean, people can be in a lot of debt as well. And then you're like, so this is our debt now, is it?
Yeah.
I've been saving for all these years, and then you've just come in the last one, and now I'm the But if you're both broke, who gives a fuck? That's like, if you're both broke and you just finished The Bachelor, you get together and you go, what's our next plan? Are we going to do some home renovation show? What are we going to do? How are we going to make coin? Let's do public appearances with each other, right?
Yeah.
Let's do a podcast.
I think there's a lot of, I don't even know if they talk with each other about it, but I do think they talk with their friends about it.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of gossip about other
But
people's
you're not allowed
financial
to mention on the
situations.
show. Like, I guess while they're filming, you can't go, so how much does a pilot make?
Yeah.
What is that?
I
What's all
would like
that
to see
about?
them ask about credit history though. And like, it's like, I'll be honest, do you have any debt? You know? That's a
Yeah.
fair question.
Student loans, anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're getting engaged, it's a fair question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Did you and the girl?
We did not talk
You never
about it.
talked about it.
No. We didn't. Nate.
Should we? Yeah. Nate in the hot seat.
So they
I
made-
don't trust Nate.
You don't trust
I
Nate?
don't trust Nate, but I still like Nate. He protests too much. He's always going on about a real man does this
Yeah,
and a real man does that, and lifting up people and the person I want to be and all that type of stuff.
It's a bit
He can still
performative.
he can still be a nice guy, a good guy, and without the whole like I'm the best person on earth. And I wouldn't, and like the reason I do all these things, the reason I'm a better man is for my daughter. It's like, that's the reason. Well, everyone with kids try to be better for them. It doesn't make you special.
I mean, I agree with you. It's the only problem is that it's the opposite of Jacob or whatever. It's just like in this world and everything's hyperbolic. I mean, you know, you fuck up, you have a douchebag moment and people treat you like you're the worst fucking person in the world. So when you have a good moment, you know, you want to, it's like they oversell it as if like, it's like this, I just want you to know that this is who I am. And you're right. The truth is, Nate's just like, all these guys are just fucking guys and they've all been douchebags. I think probably for the most part, they're all probably solid guys who have had moments of weakness. They've had, you know,
I've been in Nate's position. I've been exactly where Nate is.
I wanted to ask you about
I
that.
have been a single dad with a 4-year-old, which I think is what Nate's kid might be.
Ballpark
6.
age, yeah.
Well,
So-
yeah,
Six,
but I had from 4 to 6. That's the years I was single with my kid.
Well, hold on one second. Let's just, for our audience sake, like, what is Nate being like fully accused of? And then I want to.
Yeah. So this girl, Kelsey, posted a TikTok and it had the caption, I cried for a guy who, and then it transition, kept his kid a secret for me for 1.5 years when we were dating. And I find out on reality TV. And then with the text, there was a little like rose emoji. Some
What did she
people-
say? She put rose emojis in
Yeah.
it?
So then people put it together.
Already,
Yeah.
I'm like, eh. What did she say was the extent of the relationship? Because Nate threw in kind of a low-key suggestion that they weren't boyfriend and girlfriend. And now we live in a dating culture where defining the relationship is not a very popular thing.
Yeah, so they met in January of 2020, and this article just says seemingly started seriously dating for more than 1 year before he allegedly ghosted Kelsey for a week in July 2021.
Okay, but this is her saying it was okay. So as I said, I had a relationship breakup, and then my son was 4, and then I sort of met my wife when my son was 6-ish. Right. So I had 2 years where I dated. And in that 2 years when I dated different people and type of stuff, there were women that everyone knew I had a son. No one got to meet him. No one got to get in contact with him because I'm not putting him through different relationships that weren't going to happen. And then there was some where I would talk about my son in front of the women and say, oh, you know, my son's up to A, B, C, and D. And there was some women that you're not hearing anything about my son.
Yeah.
We're just having a casual bit of fun. You know what I mean? So maybe not for a year, they wouldn't have heard anything. But there was definitely ones that knew very, very little about my son for a couple of months or something like that. None of their business.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of details we don't know. I would be curious as to his side of the story of like how much they were dating.
So
that's why I don't like him, because I don't mind him.
You can not like him.
No, I don't mind the guy. Well, I didn't like the bit was, so when my relationship broke out, my world was turned upside down for my child, and I was just trying to protect the da-da-da-da. What he really should have said is, that wasn't a serious relationship, and my child was none of her concern. And I'd like to protect my child, and, I'll introduce my child to who I want to introduce my child to. That's all you need to say.
Well, it feels like people get so crucified on the internet that they have to overly humanize themselves and overly show emotion.
The answer is, if she was the one, she would have known about my daughter. No problem.
Yeah. No
worries.
I agree with you. That's all he should have had to say. But in Bachelor world, I to Amanda's point, I think he felt like he had to like oversell it and like sound like it's, it's like, again, I'm not a dad. I don't know what it's like to be a single dad. I don't know what it's like to be a dad at all. I don't know what it's like to go through a divorce or a separation or co-parent. But I imagine, to your point, like wouldn't want to tell every person I'm dating or partying with. Like also, I've heard rumors that like he this particular girl he only hung out with in like kind of party situations, which kind of goes to, he said something like, I don't want to put my kid in like dangerous or unhealthy situations. And maybe he was just like, I don't know. Like
he's still a young fella, but also there is an element of not just, you've broken up from your ex and now you're a single parent, but you also might have been with that ex for a long time. And you do have that year that you have after any breakup where I'm going to enjoy myself, especially since you'll have your kid 1 week on, 1 week off, or whatever. Sometimes you go a little crazy in that week off because you haven't been able to for a long time, and that sort of settles down. But initially you're like, wow, I haven't been single for a long time.
Yeah, maybe.
And so it's not straight away, like because you're single for the first time, there's a lot of relationships that happen straight after that where I'm just going to have fun until you decide to settle down or meet a person that you're going to be meaningful with. And you don't introduce your kids to those people.
And was it kind of weird when you got back out there? Like, were you like unsure of like how to talk about your son in a way to the new people? You're just like,
and some people freak out when you have a kid. Yeah. It's a deal breaker for them. And then, and some people, as I said, you just don't want them to know about your kid.
And it's one of those things where if you start seeing someone and like at first it's kind of casual, it's ambiguous, so you don't say anything. And then it's been 6 months and then you're like, oh, fuck, it's weird to bring it up now. Like, I can just see how it would easily get into like a bad situation. Like, sure, wasn't mature to ghost.
Maybe
and,
they were just,
the woman has every right to be disappointed, but I don't think it means
like my wife,
person.
She kept secret from me that she wears slippers every day for the first 2 years. Now I just see these big ass bunny slippers every single day, and you're like, that was misleading.
Yeah,
you used to walk around without those.
Yeah.
False marketing,
and now it's just like, this is me. This is the footwear I choose on a daily basis.
There's always a little bit of that in every relationship of like, oh, this is okay. Now we're being ourselves. Yeah.
Question for the room: what quality do you think you most ambush partners with later on?
That's a good question. I think I do think I'm like annoyingly honest, pretty upfront about who I am. I don't have it in me to hide stuff.
I think I'm a complete and utter slob, and I can pretend that I'm not for a good 8 months. I can clean dishes and stuff like that and be right on top of it. And I actually, not only do I avoid showing that I'm a slob, I actively act like I'm a clean person for a long time, which is very misleading. I'll vacuum and
I'm messy. I wouldn't call I'm really messy. And when I was dating, you never seen the movie Forgetting Sarah Marshall in the beginning of the movie? Yeah, where she's coming over to break up with him, and he just throws everything in the closet, and it's just I've done that. I've definitely like picked up in about 5 minutes. It looks aesthetically clean, only to have like a closet I don't want anyone to open for fear it all falls out. I've definitely.
I force people to like wait outside my bedroom while I tidy up because I feel shame about it. It's a vulnerability thing.
But they're just waiting outside your bedroom?
Yeah, like I'll be like, you need to wait here for 5 minutes.
To each their own.
There's a level of honesty there.
Well, the guy jumps out the window and breaks both of his ankles.
Wait, but going back to the Nate of it all, there was an additional component that I think like compounded everyone's rumors about Nate. So there was that original TikTok saying that she didn't know about the kid for a year and a half, but then, he ghosted her for a week in July 2021, and then apparently.
What does that mean? What do you mean? Can you ghost someone for a week? I guess, maybe. But like, you know, nowadays people use ghosting pretty loosely. It's just like I matched with you on a dating app, you didn't message me back, and like he or she ghosted me. Like it's a pretty wide spectrum now of what ghosting means. You have to
ghost people now, because back in the old days, this sounds very underhanded, and you young people might not know about this, but we used to just give false numbers. That's all we did. You could just give a completely wrong number to a human being and just smile at them. And now they go, I'll just text you so you have my number. And now you're like, oh, no.
Yeah. Or they'll follow you. Like, what's your Instagram?
Yeah, they can just find you on social media. You used to be able to duck and hide after a bad relationship. No one would find you for years.
So anyways, Nate ghosted someone
go on
for
the
a
lam,
week.
you would.
Yeah.
10 years later, I called you.
So apparently the following month, another woman then DM'd Kelsey saying that she and Nate were heavily dating in early 2021 and that she met Nate on Tinder, and then they first met in January of 2021. He then took her on an early Valentine's Day dinner date the following month. She had photos to prove all of it. So it was like, not only did she not know about the kid for a month and a half of dating, but he was seeing a different woman during that time.
I got the impression from what I've heard is that he wasn't really dating Kelsey. Like, I think they were
And why is he
hooking up.
Why is he in trouble for taking her to dinner? I don't get
he was dating. That's what I'm saying. We're in a climate where people have like 15 Tinder matches, and men and women are both doing this. Could Nate have been more communicative? It sounds like.
I feel like it's nice that you go out to dinner, because a lot of these Tinder dates are just come over to my house or whatever. You know what I mean? They just hook up ones. I always got in trouble with girls because one of the things I love about being in a relationship is you have someone to go on holidays with. You know, vacation. I say holidays, right? Someone to go on vacation with, right? And so often I'd be in a new relationship, and I'd go, do you want to go to Hawaii next week? Just because I want to go to Hawaii.
With
And I haven't had anyone.
Do you want sex on vacation?
I haven't had anyone for 2 years. I'd like to go to Hawaii. This person seems to be a bearable human. And also it's a pressure cooker. I'll speed up the relationship, find out very quick whether I like you or not. And then it gets thrown back in your face. And you took me to Hawaii. And I'm like, why the fuck am I in trouble for that? You enjoyed yourself?
Yeah, that's an excellent.
And so, like, she took him on a Valentine's Day dinner. Yeah, you got to eat.
Well, and the fact that Nate said, I put up a wall to protect my daughter from the instability of my dating life. Clearly, it wasn't stable. It wasn't the one person. So that points to...
All dating is unstable until you meet the person you get married to. It's all unstable.
Probably could have communicated better, but I'm always been, every season, reluctant of the quote-unquote exes from contestants. There's always a few that come through the woodwork, and then you hear stories about their timelines, and you're just like, so you dated and they didn't like you that much.
Yeah.
A lot of these stories of people who come forward of like exes, after you hear all the this and that, or he said, she said, a lot of it, not always, but a lot of it comes down to, it sounds like they didn't like you. And they went on a show.
I don't think Nate did. I think Nate should be more unapologetic and just go, fuck no, you're not meeting my kids. No, you're not doing this. I took you to dinner like that. The problem I have with Nate is as a man of a daughter with a thing.
The man I was.
The man that I am. The man that I will be. I'm still, you know, all that
little
type of
heavy-handed.
stuff. Like, come
he's
on,
probably
dude.
just a guy who probably could have, been a little bit more upfront and was a little selfish in his dating life and wasn't, fine. And it seems like nowadays everyone is a little guilty of, focusing on their own personal like needs at the, which might make the other person feel like, I feel like you could have told me that, and there's a lot of that going around. And
casually dating multiple people during Valentine's Day is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh, my birthday's Valentine's Day.
Ooh,
oh,
nightmare.
How have we structured society?
That might be the worst.
But my birthday should be the one time a woman buys me dinner. And I'm still stuck in this whole vortex of I've got to pay for dinner on my birthday. That doesn't feel fair.
That might be the worst birthday to have as a guy.
Oh, and also you can't bring out all your friends on your birthday because they have to go out with
their guys.
Their wife or husband. Your friends have to hang out with their partners. So you can't have a communal dinner. If you do, when I was a kid, I remember you'd go to dinner and your family would have to go to dinner and they'd have the restaurant all separated into tables of two, and it'd just be my goofy family sitting in the middle. So no, not a good one. The Valentine's Day.
I feel like Halloween is the best holiday to have a birthday. If you have to have a birthday on a holiday, Halloween, it's like,
everyone's
everybody
having
who I know
a good
is going
time.
on
They're
the
not really
31st
cared about
party.
yeah, they're not really there for you. But
My wife's one's just before Christmas, so she has that whole
So-
people giving one gift, and that's for both.
what do
She
you
has
do
it.
now? Does Valentine's Day get pushed, or does your birthday get pushed?
No, I do it on Valentine's Day. I just have dinner with my wife or something like that, and I feel like I don't have to do a big deal for Valentine's Day because it's my birthday. I just a bunch of flowers. You get some flowers. The end. You know, I'm not like there's no poem to be written. It's my birthday.
Yeah.
You're off the hook.
Yeah, I feel like I'm off the
Well,
hook.
maybe one could argue that it's a good thing that you can always blame it on your birthday, being like, how much effort do you want me
My
to put?
father always got out of Valentine's Day with my mother by going, I gave you Jim, you had the best Valentine's Day gift you could have. 20 hours of labor or whatever it was, you should be thankful.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what my dad was. But my mother would always, I think this is because my mother would always get me when I was a little kid heart-shaped cakes, and she'd say that's all the cake shop's selling. I've learned, no, they still sell regular cakes.
You got Valentine's
Yeah,
Day
I got
cakes on your
Valentine's
birthday?
Day cakes from me mum. It was very creepy.
You think this scandal has eliminated Nate from contention of being the next Bachelor if he was being considered as the next Bachelor?
I
feel
think
like
the
he's
next
very capable
Bachelor.
of dating multiple women.
What?
I feel like he's even more
Yeah.
qualified.
Yeah. Oh, another good point. Why is this such a scandal when the Bachelor literally this is their shtick? He was just warming up. You know, he wasn't doing it right because he was a rookie. He, clearly had some learning to do. Now he's a real man.
I
He's changed.
think Nate could be the Bachelor. He should never have his kid on the show after what he said. I never like when they bring the children on.
I'm not a huge fan either.
And they bring them and they run along the beach with a
But they
random
will.
man. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? That girl who had the 2 daughters.
Yep.
It will be, yeah. It's always
And
some
it's
sort
like-
of beach shot of them running to their children as if
Yeah. And now I've met your kids. It's even more important to me. And you're like, get the fuck out
That's
of here.
kind of what they
Leave
do.
the kids alone, man. There was that guy years ago who lived in Seattle and he had the kid. And
Yeah,
then
Jason.
They
Yeah.
got married. And then when they got married, the kid was not in the episode because clearly the mum had gone, nah, that's not happening anymore. Rightfully so. Like if my ex became the new Bachelorette and she put my son on, I'd be furious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all they really do is use the kid just like they use roses, which is like, you got a rose and I want you to think this is special, but it's probably not.
Yeah.
And I want you to meet their kid. I want you to think it's special. So your kid's a pawn.
Oh, so just a little jump back. So we were talking about Rachel saying to the guy, I'm so happy that you've told me this. I've been waiting for you to say this for so long. She didn't even slightly say it back.
Nope.
And then she said it off camera. She said, because I'm falling in love with him on the front screen. Does that mean that she has said it back?
I doubt it.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't have she said it back?
Who knows?
Well, it used to be the rules that you don't say anything, that the lead is just always being like, yeah, thanks for telling me how you feel, and I'll let you know at the end kind of thing. But they have broken the rules, obviously, with Ben saying, I love you to 2 women, and that kind of opened up Pandora's box of it being an option. And then was it Rachel who told Tino?
Mm-hmm.
Now they kind of been giving it away,
But maybe she doesn't want to say it to multiple people because of what happened with Clayton.
Yeah, so you say it to the person you're going to pick.
Yeah.
I think the Bachelor should be that nice bloke who just takes it on the chin all the time.
Zach.
Yeah, the one. There was the one that they didn't go to the hometown. She didn't meet the family.
Tyler.
Tyler.
You like him?
I like that guy because he's just.
So does Amanda.
He's the nicest human in the world. He's just like this. Oh, you did the right thing not seeing my family.
I think
Thanks for that because that could have been way worse.
Yeah.
And then he's like a mental. Oh man, you 2 nailed it. You're the best. And he feels genuine. He
I know.
feels like
I
he's
actually, I don't think it's genuine. I think it's bullshit.
He's going to be walked over his whole life, this fella.
Great TV.
I don't believe it. I think it's bull. I think he's smart enough to know he should say that.
Yeah, you think so?
I could be wrong. I don't know anything about him.
But when he was there going, and just spending this time with you is so wonderful. And she's like, please stop talking. Just stop talking. Stop it.
It was brutal.
Oh, yeah, you gotta keep going.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, that was brutal. You can see like the heart being ripped out of his chest and then just like holding it. And then she eats it like an apple in front of him.
I don't think he's going to be your next Bachelor, though, Amanda.
Why
I do
not?
think he's going to have a patch. I think
He
he's
didn't
going to
have
be
a
a
hot
Paradise
seat.
sweetie.
He didn't have a. Did we see any previews of him in Paradise? We haven't seen everyone. I think the only people they really show is original cast and then guys from this season to amp people up. But
Who do you think's going to be the real Bachelor? You think it's going to be Nate?
I think Zach or Nate, maybe.
Wait,
Zach.
what about Jason or Johnny?
What about Meatball?
We haven't seen anything of Johnny. Like, if they were going to make Johnny your Bachelor, I mean, who knows? I mean, like, again, they made Clayton the Bachelor, and that was a shocker. But I could see if Zach gets heartbroken, like, I expect him to be heartbroken because he seems to be super into Rachel. It's like, it's that classic case of, like, all the other guys, I think they, like, look at Tino and Rachel and go, she's not picking me. And then there's Zach, who is the one guy who's not Tino, who thinks he has a shot with Rachel.
Who would you pick out of Gabby and Rachel?
I prefer Gabby as a Bachelorette over Rachel.
But for you personally, who would you rather date?
Neither. I mean,
I'd rather date Gabby over Rachel.
Gabby definitely has a personality in line with women I've dated.
Yeah, she's more of a laugh.
Yeah, Rachel.
Rachel's fine.
She's fine. I just don't know if I have it in me to make her happy.
Yeah. She's hard work, I think.
Yeah.
Not in a terrible. He's not a bad person.
No. There's a lot of guys out there I think would be perfect for Rachel. You know, I don't think we're as compatible for Rachel as we, the same way. I don't think she'd be into us.
I think she'd be into me, Nick. I think she'd like me.
She might.
Gabby would love me.
I think Rachel would fucking hate me.
I think I'd like to date Gabby's grandfather the most.
Oh my God,
seems most
same.
on par with me. Although when he came back on the show,
Can
he knew what his secret sauce was, and he was playing it a bit too much.
It was a lot.
Can I just put it out there? I know, like, I'm gonna probably get some heat for it. I'm over Gabby's grandpa.
Oh no, he overacted on his last one. He overacted.
His second appearance, I was like, all right, we get the same. It's just like it was cute the first time.
Yeah.
I don't need to see Grant.
It was good to
Gabby's
see
grandpa
Putty
anymore.
on TV.
I loved that. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. That's why I want Zach to be the Bachelor. I wanted to see Putty.
I want my nephew to be the Bachelor, just so I can appear on every episode.
What would you?
And Uncle Jim's here.
What would you
Speak
ask
the
at
girls.
hometowns? What would you ask at hometowns? How would you?
Well,
check in?
I'd say my nephew's called Max. I'd go, Max he's a special boy, and he loves with his full heart. He does when he does. When he loves, he loves. I don't know anything about him. I can't quite remember his middle name.
But are you here for the right reasons?
Yeah, you're here for the right reasons. And, engagement's a big step. And it's like, once you get married, it's forever or until it breaks up.
Yeah, engagements really aren't that big of a step.
I have no sympathy for people who get divorced who don't have kids. I don't give a fuck. If you've got kids, I feel for you, because breaking up with kids, it rips your heart out. It rips your heart out. And you try to do the best thing by the child. You try to do the best thing by everyone. And normally you've stayed a little bit too longer for the kids. Like, they're terrible breakups. But when they just get married and then they go, and my marriage didn't work out, you're like, no one cares. No one cares.
Move on.
It's just a breakup. No one cares.
It's paperwork and maybe
Yeah,
hiring.
it's paperwork, and you definitely
you don't have to pay child support forever. There's no custody battle. There's
Well,
like
there is the we did say we love each other a lot and spend thousands and thousands of dollars.
Oh, it's
I feel
embarrassing.
like
It's
shortly after the
embarrassing.
it's
wedding-
embarrassing,
It's a-
especially if you do it like 6 months after a big wedding.
It's the worst financial choice of your life for
Yeah.
sure, but
No one cares.
emotionally, Jim's not wrong.
Yeah. I see celebrities get divorced. They're like, no kids, whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares?
It's a really expensive breakup,
Yeah.
but one you can totally move on from. Yeah, because if when you break up with someone, knowing that once you get over it, you're like, someday I'm gonna get over this, and I will never have to see you, talk to you. I don't even have to think you exist. But if you have kids, that's just not possible.
Me and my ex are as on good terms as anyone. I consider her one of my best friends, and I consider her family. And we go
That's awesome.
on holidays and everything like that. My wife and her get along fine. That was stuff.
Took a while to get there, though.
We broke up. I was kind of smart about it, really. I could see that we weren't going to last 2 or 3 more years. And the writing was on the wall. We could have muscled out 2 or 3 more years. And I said, we should do it now while he's young and it's not going to destroy him. And while we still like each other, we should do it before we hate each other so we can all still get along. And she was like, I think you're right. And we shook hands. And
That's great, man. You're one of the lucky ones.
I know we get along really well. She babysits my new baby all the time.
Is she in a relationship?
Not at the moment, but she's been in relationships since we broke up. Yeah, no, but she lives down the road from us, and we all get along really. I love it a bit, so I consider her one of my best friends.
That's great. What's the secret to that, other than breaking up right before you hate each other?
Look, I haven't always been a great boyfriend in my life, but I've always been a great ex-boyfriend. I never say anything nasty about you and all that type of stuff, and I've look, I pay my child support on time and I do all the things that you need to do that are sort of the paperworky type things. But it's more work in we make it work because it's better for my son. We go out of our way to be nice to each other. It's not to say that we never have arguments. We do, but we go out of our way to be nice to each other.
That's great.
Speaking of someone who didn't feel like he was treated nicely, Mario saying that Gabby did him wrong.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When he goes, he was doing all right. He goes, and I felt a little of this, and I felt a lot of that, and then the last sentence, you did me wrong. Oh,
and then they had the whole conversation.
Well, she shut him right down.
Yeah.
She was just like, yeah, well, I felt you did me wrong too, so fuck you.
There wasn't a conversation until too late of who you were here for. I wanted to feel chosen. But, I mean, wasn't it kind of obvious he was there for Gabby because he was her first impression rose pick? Although I guess
that was kind of the point, is that he got the first impression rose, which is, in that world, a big deal. And he still acted like, which is normal, but he still acted like he hadn't decided who he likes yet. It was like, well, thanks, you like me, but I haven't decided. And in that world, it was a bold choice. It didn't work out, which, I don't know if anyone did anyone wrong, but I don't know if that's going to get you to Fantasy Suite Week,
All right, Fantasy Suite predictions.
Dream Week.
Are they going to be multiple shagging? Because they can't really.
After Clayton.
After Clayton, they can't shag two people, let alone three.
I think they can. They just can't say I love you off the balcony as they're
Yeah,
going
I don't
home.
know.
That's a good point. That's a valid point.
Different expectations for bachelorettes for bachelors.
Well, we have all the sound bites and the teasers of the, was Zach the one saying like it's a 180 after Fantasy Suites? So something happens with Zach where he experiences a 180. We've also heard the clip from Rachel.
Does that mean he hates Rachel then?
We don't know. But we've also heard a clip from Rachel in a different teaser where she said he changed his mind after Fantasy Suites. So either that's Zach or that's someone completely different.
I think that Rachel might be bad in bed then. Well, is that bad to say? Because I've had girls I've been deeply into, really, really into, had sex with them and then gone, I'm good. And I'm sure you've had the other way.
Yeah, it works.
I'm sure you've had the other way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Where you go, no, because you find out very quickly if you're sexually competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Competitive?
Compatible.
Compatible.
Sexually competitive could be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the good stuff.
Yeah. I ran into someone from this season.
Oh.
On the streets. And
What streets
on
are
the
you on?
streets of the world. What I heard was, I was like, because I'm spoiler free, and I was like, yeah, don't tell him anything. And then I'm like, is it a good ending? And this person was just like, well, after what Rachel did, it was a crazy ending. So this person said Rachel did something so incredibly vague. I don't know if it's good or bad, if she'll look good or bad, but she did something. So I don't know.
Which caused Zach to have a 180.
Maybe, but
maybe she's just too much in bed. Maybe she just showed up in a dominatrix outfit and a whip and all this type of stuff, and they're like,
or maybe she just told Zach, I'm not going to pick
too much for
him.
the first time.
Yeah, I don't know. But if it's Zach who actually did the 180, and I don't think we can really believe anything from these super teases, mind you, but like he's obsessed with Rachel, so he would have to.
The opposite of obsessed is,
He would have to want to walk away. So maybe he won't be heartbroken. I don't know.
But I don't know.
Zach's the front runner though.
Tino is.
Tino's the front runner. Yeah.
There's just no world where she's not picking Tino. She's already decided. She decided night one.
Uh-huh.
You reckon Aven will get a piece? You reckon he'll be having sex with her?
I don't presume to guess what man will have sex with Rachel or Gabby.
I'll tell you who's going to have sex. Tino's having sex.
Tino's having sex.
Yeah.
Zach's having sex.
I don't know.
I think bad sex. And that's what's I think bad sex.
They don't all have sex. It's more common not to have sex than have sex.
Well, that's why I'm only saying 2 out of 3. And then Gabby's just going to have sex with.
I think Aven might have a better chance of having sex than.
Because it would be more like
Zach.
meaningless sex, I think.
Yeah, because I think there's always like a couple of if it's usually oftentimes the lead will have sex with 2, not 3, to like, because 3 is like, well, then you're just fucking everybody.
Yeah.
But 2 is kind of like, well, I have to decide, and I feel like this is just a hypothesis from what I know from conversations, is that I already know who I'm going to pick, but I am the lead, and like this. If this all works out, this will be the last person I get to like hook up with. So they kind of fuck their like person they want to have like fuck. It's more.
I think you have to have sex. You have to have sex with all 3 of them to know for sure.
But they already know they're not going to pick people.
Maybe someone could fuck it into you. There might be someone like, not going to pick this person, just do it. And then like, you just fucked that into me.
Yeah, that was.
I might pick you.
Did not expect that out of you. It's quite the skill
Well,
set.
Gabby had also said on Clayton's season, she'd been very vocal about encouraging Clayton to explore all of his options because she wanted it to come from a place of like actually being chosen, being considered on all fronts. So I feel like it's very fair to expect Gabby to hook up with multiple.
Yeah.
Good for
Who
her.
do you think? Okay. Who do you think has the best group of men?
Who do we got? We got Jason, Johnny,
and Eric.
I feel like at least Rachel's men seem they're all more unique to me. They all seem more different. Like the Johnnies, and like when we still had Logan there, I'm like, they all like, they're the same.
Really?
All the same.
That's how I feel about Gabby's men.
Better. I don't know. I think they all seem fine. I guess I like Gabby's men better.
Yeah.
Nothing against Rachel's men, but
I just feel like Rachel's men each bring something different to the table, and with Gabby's men, I'd have trouble remembering even who's still there.
Yeah, but we just haven't seen as much of them. I don't know any of these guys.
I'm
really,
like, who is Johnny?
Aven just seems like a nice guy, he's super handsome. I really don't know anything about Aven. Zach, we know that is like loves hard. His uncle's putty, and he once like didn't like the way he looked, and that changed. We know that. And then Tino's
the best genetic representation of his
family.
gene pool.
Yeah.
Who like is a little crabby when he doesn't get roses, and is in construction, and is he's a surfer bro construction guy.
Yeah.
You're like,
he's probably got a bit of money, Tino, because he probably works in construction. He probably, like I said, not a lot, but he probably does all right for himself.
Is like a mid-20s, like mid to late 20s guy. Yeah. He probably has more money than his peers on the show because he's actually been working.
Yeah. He's got a job. And like Rachel, she's a pilot. What airline does she work for?
Why haven't we seen Rachel fly?
She's a flight instructor, so she's not like working.
Don't you
as
have
like
to be a pilot? But have we seen Rachel fly a plane?
Yeah, because
when Peter,
fuck me.
Oh my God, every fucking episode.
We did.
If they could find a plane.
We've seen her fly?
I thought we did on Clayton's season at the end.
Like she was the one flying the plane.
Start the season
also,
by flying in, and Gabby
was
drives
driving
in a car.
and she was
so
above
I missed
on
that.
The,
okay,
on the plane.
I'm sorry. I just feel like we saw it with Peter so much.
Yeah.
We have a woman pilot, which is not as it's against the stereotype, I guess, and a very dominated profession.
I thought you were about to say against God. No, that's good. Just a stereotype.
God does not believe
I was wondering where you were going, which isn't natural.
Well, you would think that the show would showcase that more,
I think so,
Maybe she'll fly to her proposal.
But maybe she doesn't see, like Pete used to think planes used to get like women going. He used to get in a plane like and then just point out the window. We're going over here.
Well, it's like,
look
if
down.
it's anything similar to driving, I feel like the men would criticize. Like, do you know what I mean? I just feel like men are a lot more likely in a heterosexual relationship to like criticize their girlfriend's driving. Like, I could imagine Rachel like getting in the plane and one of the guys being like, "Oh, actually, you want to do that differently."
Oh, you think that?
You think a guy would mansplain how to fly a plane?
I think they would literally mansplain flying a plane to Rachel.
I'm sure some would.
I'll tell you my worst mansplaining episode that I've ever had. So we have the baby and my wife's trying to breastfeed. This is in the first week we have the baby. We bring the lactation specialist over and the lactation specialist goes, you bring the baby to the boob, not the boob to the baby, and you do this and you pinch it like this and all that stuff. And then the baby started latching on and all that type of stuff. And then as soon as lactation specialist goes, my wife goes, no, he stopped latching on. And I could see that my wife wasn't quite doing what the lady said to do. Have you ever mansplained breastfeeding? Oh, That's a delicate minefield to fucking walk down. I was like, yeah, she said bring the baby to the boob, not the boob to the baby, and you're bringing the boob. I'm like, if you just sit still, I reckon I could get him. And so I held the baby as my wife sat still, and I just brought him over, and he latched on, and I didn't want to do I told you so. Oh, that's a tough one. So even now I'm telling you this earnestly, and you're still looking at me like, did that really happen? Is that what really happened?
I believe that happened.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking about a story that I heard on a podcast once where they ended up like, they had recently had a baby. She was still breastfeeding. They went to like a family party, ended up deciding that they were going to spend the night there. And so like they both like started drinking, unable to drive. And she forgot the breast pump at home and like did not know what to do. And was in a ton of pain because like she needed to get the milk out of her boobs. And
boobs go massive, yeah.
Her husband had to get him out.
I had to suck it out.
Yep.
What?
It's very sweet tasting.
I feel like every husband's tried it.
I know everyone's tasted it. Yeah. It's meant to be so good for you. Cancer patients pay a lot for breast milk because they reckon there's so much stuff in it like that, and so people sell it off for quite a lot of money. And then if you get the stuff early on with the colostrum, which is just like, it's just this yellow type of stuff in the first few weeks, that's like the high potency breast milk. But if it's sitting there on the counter, it's going to be thrown out. It's because it only lasts an hour in the outside world or something.
Get those
like that.
nutrients, I guess.
I chuck it back like a shot. I've done it many times. Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you?
Sounds gross. I didn't even drink it out of my mother, so I don't want to drink it out of anyone else.
I feel like
it's
you could convince me if it had enough of nutrients that I would do it.
It's less gross than cow's milk. Like if it's human to human milk. It's what we're meant to drink.
I was born lactose intolerant, so.
My mother never gave me breastfed me either. They didn't believe in it in the 70s. Yeah.
Really, in the 70s?
There was a period in the 70s where they believed that science had come so far that formula was far better than breast milk. And then they started to figure out, they went, oh, no, actually breast milk is better. But they thought they'd manufactured a product that was better.
So you got Tino winning. Who do you think? I think she picks Eric.
I think Eric, yeah.
She has to pick Eric. You can't keep him around after that story and then break up with him.
Oh, well,
you're a dick.
After the dad?
Yeah, if Gabby broke up with Eric after Fantasy Suites or even runner-up, then she's a real dick, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I would want someone to date me though, just because I had an ill parent. Like I get the whole like he made a real big sacrifice to be there. And
no,
so I think
but she could.
The
point is she would have
sent him home a long time ago.
Yeah, right then and there, she'd been like, "Oh, your dad's dying. I like,
Johnny.
Yeah. If Eric was her second or third favorite, he's going home at hometowns. But it's not 100%. And
I just mean if she really thinks at that point, if she really thought she was going to choose him, and then for whatever reason, once she like Fantasy Suites, whatever else happens,
sure.
What does
Eric do for a living? I know he has a cute mullet. What does he do besides that?
Was it real estate or something or?
And she's a nurse, right?
Yeah,
and we haven't had her.
She's an ICU nurse.
We haven't had her doing any nursey stuff. Where is the group date where all the men have to work on to resuscitate someone and bring a trolley through and all that stuff?
Defibrillator.
Or the group date where you're all going to be my air stewards on the plane.
Yeah, where was the nursing date? You know
what I mean?
Yeah.
They do those things. They had on Peter's season, they had all the girls dressed up like trolley dollies. For lack of a better term, flight attendants, yeah.
When it's a pilot, they always have a female flight attendant candidate. I would love to see a male flight attendant.
Yeah, why did they have a flight attendant? A male flight attendant. They exist.
They exist, yeah.
They're awesome. Yeah. Every single one I've met, I'm like, I want to know your story. I want to know how you got here.
Yeah, go to Southwest.
You
There's
have
tons of like
energy.
Entertaining straight male flight attendants.
The male flight attendants also are so much better with like drinks and stuff too. Like those are the ones where they're like, "Do you mind if I like make you my signature?" Blah blah blah.
I do
I'm like,
find them to be a little more friendly.
Yeah.
I used to do a joke years ago about how on the airlines now, it's like when you watch those movies like Catch Me If You Can, and it, like everyone's like got their hair perfectly done and their buns and all that sort of stuff, the high heels and these skirts and all that sort of stuff. It's like none of those people have retired. Like all air steward and stewardesses are in their like 80s now. Mm-hmm. They're all like stumbling around like, all right.
And they're still doing the makeup every day. They're wearing heels. Like they still got it.
Catch me if you can. They're all every day. They're just like, where am I going today?
It looks like a fucking tough job though. Town to town.
I agree.
Oh,
Not for me.
I don't envy it.
having to tell people over and over again, like, you can't put your backpack in the overhead compartment. You can only put your wheelie bag. Like, everyone's a nightmare. Everyone's the worst version of themselves when they're flying.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I
that's your
get in the
workplace.
60s, it was glamorous. We're like, we're flying. This is amazing. We used to like take wagons and everyone had a good mood about it. It was an event. And now everyone's like, fuck flying.
But back then, the air stewardesses in the 60s weren't allowed to have boyfriends or husbands. They had
Southwest got sued because of this, because they said we were the love airline and they would only hire like hot young women. And then there was a lawsuit against them where they were like, being hot is not an essential function of this job, so it's hiring discrimination.
Yeah, it was like a man should be greeted by a single girl with a drink as soon as he sits on the plane. That was the policy.
Wow,
like, that's crazy.
That's
You think like the labor laws must back then must have been just nothing. Could you imagine saying that you have to be single?
Now?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Are you single? What do you look like? Wear this. Turn around. Nuts. Jim, always a pleasure. Please let the people know where they can find you. Remind them of your podcast. So Kelly, I promise Kelly.
A podcast called I Don't Know About That, and that's it's where you find all good podcasts. And then for my tour dates, go to jimjeffries.com. And then if you're in Toronto, I'm recording a new special for Netflix in November. I think November 4th or something like that. But I've got like 3 gigs in Toronto, so we want those gigs to be sold out because we're recording a new special.
November? Should we try to go to team trip to Toronto?
Hell yeah.
Road trip.
It's gonna be a blast. Yeah.
I like Toronto. I haven't gone there enough.
It's like the specials are always good because, although you're only doing an hour, you're not doing like an hour 40 like you normally do, but something like that. But the crowd's always more pumped because there's that little bit of you that thinks you might be seen on telly.
Yeah, you're just a little bit more.
Yeah, you're laughing over the top, like.
This
is the funniest guy I've ever met.
You get a standing ovation coming out because there's a guy before that tells the audience to do that. That's nice.
All the insider tricks
yeah.
of do you usually do 2 specials?
I record. I'll do
like
2 shows in a night, and then I'll record them. But I've had like one special. I don't drink anymore. One special where the first edit went really good, and then I had an hour off in between shows, and I got a little bit too drunk in that hour. And you can tell when the joke. Well, I can tell when a joke spliced in from the drunk show to the sober show. You know what I mean? Like it's quite
Your
obvious.
eyes are glazed over.
Yeah, it's quite. And also my hair's like just matted down against my head, and I'm sweating more and all that type of stuff.
Is he okay? Well, we always appreciate to have you on,
Thanks,
Jim.
anytime.
Come back anytime. Thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to send in your questions. Tomorrow, the Lady Gang will join us for Going Deeper. I want to spend a lot of time talking about the Olivia Wilde and of it all. That story's wild to me. No pun intended.
One.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. Like, is Shia LaBeouf in the wrong? Is she in the wrong?
He had the receipts, and it's just like, Shia LaBeouf might be a bad guy, but he didn't get fired. She was like begging him to. It's not a good look, Olivia. And then I feel bad because people hate her just because she's dating Harry Styles, and it's just like. But I also want to defend Olivia because I want Harry on this podcast. It's just, it's a complicated story. We'll get into it.
It's also coming on the heels of the whole custody thing. Like, Olivia Wilde has probably had way too much goddamn press recently.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Bye. Hey guys, thanks for watching, but before you go, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss any future videos, like our Mondays Ask Nick, especially if you're looking for some relationship stories and relationship advice, as well as our Wednesday interviews with your favorite celebrities and experts. See you next time.